Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. We have been talking to a lot of product managers from different industries, finance, health, and much more. Today we are going to talk with Mahima. Thanks a lot, Mahima, for joining here. Mahima currently works as a product manager at Bajaj Health. Here we are going to talk about a lot of concepts like how we can get into product management, what are the product manager skills, and much more. Hi Mahima, thanks a lot for joining. If you can give a quick introduction to audience, it would be helpful.
Yeah, hi Manoj. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm Mahima. I'm currently a product manager at Bajaj Health Limited. I graduated in 2019 from Symbiosis with degree in business administration, post which I worked in PwC as an internal auditor, and then I switched to product management after that. I think it's been quite a roller coaster ride, and I'm really excited to share my experience with all of you here.
So the first question is like I saw that you had done your BBA, then you were an analyst, then you got into product management. How did you discover product management first, and how did you validate its career opportunity for you or not? Because most of the aspirants or who is in a different management or non-tech role who wants to transition, they are still not sure ki is this a role for me or not.
I think, as you know, my journey to product management was not linear. I was majoring in marketing when I was in college, and I applied to PW my campus placements because I wanted to explore the consultancy field. I wanted to work with clients of different sectors, and I wanted that exposure. I kind of got into that, and I think while I was doing while my journey in PW, I realized I don't want to be advising first or just kind of helping clients know what they can do. I wanted to be the building part of it. I wanted to build it, wanted to work on things that are actually helping customers. Then I think while exploring that, while speaking to my seniors, my peers, I think this is when I explored that there is a role called product management, and it is which sits in the intersection of technology, evolution, of business knowledge. Everything comes together, and I feel since I had marketing exposure, I had done internships in marketing, then I had exposure to the finance field, I had analytical skills exposure. I think combining all of that, this was the best role that would suit it for me back then. And I think yeah, that's how I entered the role.
Interesting. You were into marketing and then you thought you want to be in a field where you can work in tech, management, marketing, and with the user. So you transition to product management. Got
Basically,
it.
there was one thing where I didn't want to do the same thing for 365 days in a year. I was very sure that I want which keeps me on my toes. Like every month at least, it's a new thing or a different experience. I don't want to be doing the same desk job for 12 months. This was, I think, the best option out there.
Yeah, I think product manager, the job changes a lot. Even doesn't know every day is a different day. New,
Today you might be thinking, oh, this is going to work out. Next day something else happens and you have to scrape off the initial thing altogether. I think that's exciting in itself. So yeah.
The next thing is, as you told, like the product manager role is not the same. It changes a lot. What do you think? What are the top 5 skills of a product?
So I think the first or the most important skill is know your customer. Today I sitting in one, this is what I like or this is what I feel will work, and we're going to build this. It's what the customers want and what they like and which you personally might not have any interest in for that matter. I think knowing your customer, knowing the voice of your customer, what they want, what is the problem that they are facing, I think is the first and the most important thing. So you need to have an empathy and understanding of what your target market or target segment needs. Now, moving to that of how will you know what they want, there are different ways, right? Your research has to be very, your research and analytics skills, you read the data which is available on public domains, you conduct research, you talk to your current audience, you literally talk to them. I have done that. You understand currently what is offered in the market, what is which is not working out for them. Combining all of this is when you start working on the part of it. Empathy, one, second, your research and analytics skills. Third is your creative out of the box thinking. Now that you have combined all of it and you're creating a if it which is not innovative enough, you're going to end up like other the problem in the market will still not be. You have to think of innovative way which no one has thought of. So the creative part comes there, which is again very important. And I think yeah, these are the three main qualities that I will say are a must. Fourth would be basic technical skills, not details. Even if you do not have a very background, like that's fine. Once you have that passion for the problem and once you know what the customer wants, you know how you want to approach it. I think just the basic technical skills of what I need to do this. What are the technicals required or is there any human required? Do I need to, can I use existing in the company solve it, or do I need to go out of the way altogether? I think that approach then becomes very important. I think these are the major ones that one should keep in mind. And last but not the least is the communication. I think people have stressed upon it quite enough, but when it comes to communication, your inter-teams communication, communication with your outside third parties. So I mean, help. As you know, product manager sits in the intersection of developers, of designers, of your product teams, and now you help them create it. If the solution is in your head, right, and you can't communicate it properly to your team, it won't go live in the market the way you have expected it to go. It will just not the problem. So then communicating the exact requirement, communication there, since we are a healthcare where we make the customers or the patients meet the care providers, a communication with the providers. You're offering a platform where you're making two parties meet. I think that communication is very important of a customer wants doctor consultation, for example, at 10 o'clock in the night and he's looking for a specialist. Is your platform capable enough to ensure that a specialist is available for him to take the consultation? That aspect of it. I think if you have all of these in place, you're good to win. Then rest as you proceed in the journey will unfold. Yeah.
Perfect. I think especially in the example you told, right, managing the supply and demand gap
Right.
is very important. Other way, like doctors are available, but there are no patient, there's no supply.
They have a very strong offline presence. You are asking them to connect online, right? It's a digital platform, digital. They have a very offline world going on. How do you fit in there so that the patients who are, at the clinic are not hampered? At the same time, a patient who's come via your platform is not hampered. To be in the right spot and ensure nothing is, put at risk. So I think that becomes very, very important and challenging. But yeah.
Got it. Perfect. I think when it moves from a junior to a mid-senior role, right? Like let's say from a product manager to a product manager, right? What are the changes in responsibilities do you see? What new skills they might need to master or they might need to improve?
When you're an assistant manager, you're mostly learning as well as trying to a problem. You're navigating as to how the approach should be. Is there any model that I should adopt to the problem? How do I read the data in a way that it makes sense for me to make an informed decision? Now, when you transition into a product manager, the first important thing is the 360 approach. For example, let's say Swiggy, like a product manager in Swiggy. Now, there might be a product manager who's dedicated for the delivery, food delivery service. There might be dedicated for the Instamart service of theirs. That might be dedicated for the in-dining service. I'm working in the Instamart section. Now, I only focus on making the journey very seamless for the customer, correct? As a product manager, you can't just be thinking of that one journey that you're working on, or you have to keep in mind what company as a whole wants to achieve. Today, what does Bajaj Health as a whole want to achieve? Where does my journey fit in with all the other services we're offering? So my service might be directly solving a problem or might be assisting an existing service that we are offering and helping that service to solve a bigger problem. I can't just think individually. I have to ensure that I have the 360 approach as to overall where is my feature sitting and how do I for it. I think that thinking changes, and with that comes ownership. We have people using our app day in and day out, and it's healthcare, right? Uh, People in agony and pain will come and use our service. No one will be happy and want to, meet a doctor. So at that point, it's facing a problem. You do have a team, customer support, they talk to the customers and all of that. However, it's your product because of which they face a problem, maybe while booking a consultation or how you are the one who has the access to solve that. A customer service executive will just speak out to the customer. Who is solving it in the product for them is we. So taking that ownership of my customer is facing a problem and I need to for it. Escalation has been raised. However, I need to quit. I can't tell the customer, ki, sir, aap 2 din wait kar lo. You'll get the he's there at the. I need to be very quick and upfront. I think that ownership of good or bad happens. Your product is your responsibility. These major changes come in when you step up in your role. I think it's very important because a skill is you're risking the life of yours. It becomes very crucial.
I think it changes from
Yeah,
industry to industry, especially in healthcare. You cannot say people to wait for or like that.
exactly,
When I used to
exactly.
work in logistic where a package needs to move, let's say it's going for birthday, we cannot say, okay, we'll deliver after the birthday. We want to deliver on that specific date as promised to the customer. Yeah. And the next thing is, especially as you talked about building products in health, what are the top 3 learnings you have building products in the health tech space?
I think one has to be first and foremost very empathetic, Manoj. As I kind of mentioned couple of times, you cannot be you have to be rational at the same time. You can't let your emotions go by because when you're building a for who is sick or who is facing a health condition and he's coming to you for it, you have to have your emotions in place. You can't let him wait. You can't let him face any problem while he's consulting the doctor or he wants a lab test to be done. So I think at that point, combining emotions and rational together and then building becomes very, very important. Again, I can't, so if a customer is dissatisfied, I can't tell him I'm refilling and it's fine. Even a refund won't let that pain go away that he's facing physically or mentally. That is which is very important for healthcare. Second is your compliance and regulations. It's an industry where you can't go all out. The lives of people are at risk. Every has to be kept in mind that it's compliant with the rules and regulations of the medical industry of what the government has, kept in place as how we can avail a healthcare. So compliance for us becomes very, very important. And I think second, and I think third will be a collaboration. As I said, we have offered a platform wherein we tell that if you need the doctor or lab test done, medicines, we can have all the OPD under one umbrella. For there, you need to get all your providers in place, and that collaboration of what my customer wants and what is the provider offering, bridge the gap between the two, and ensure that the solution that I expected to deliver is actually helping the customer at the end of the day. I can't just say कि यार doctor है आप हो देख लो. It has to align with each other. I think that again becomes very important. Yes, just summarizing, it's your empathy, it's your compliance, and it's collaboration and communication across all domains that plays a very, very important.
Yeah, I think the very important thing, compliance, that can make or break the game. Even in case of fintech, RBI says it can like make a startup which is making profit to a loss making company also.
Right.
And healthcare, it would be more crucial because it's more than money; it's people's lives. Yeah. The next thing is, what's the importance of the knowledge of technology for a product manager? So the context is you had done BBA in marketing and you didn't had exposure to technology at that time because it's purely a business or
Right.
marketing related degree. So what's the importance of knowledge of technology for product managers, and how did you gain or learned about technology while building tech products?
As you mentioned, I did not have any exposure in technology at all, if I have to put it that way. I was applying for this role. I focused on the skills, because so hard skills that I believe can always be developed on the job training, right? While you're working, you can learn and you can master that. However, if your skills are not in place, it's you can't train and you can't tell them to learn in a day. I think my focus was what are the soft skills required in this industry and where am I sitting and what do I need to improve there that I'm at least eligible enough to understand the role and actually help in building a again skills like how do I approach a problem, how do I understand data, how do I think from the shoes of a customer. Today, if I'm using we all so many apps day in and day out. If I go today in a health app, what is that I feel is missing? What can we improve? What would I want as a customer? Once you start thinking like that, you start thinking like a product manager. That's the first step. Then second is of approaching of how you the problem, which again a lot of models can be used. Despite that, if you just understand the data well, you understand what is currently there in the market, you'll have your basic answer there with you. Post that, if you can just know your basic technical skills, or even if you don't have that, it's fine. For me, I just did a basic online free course which is available, just at a fair idea of what are the terms or what are the terminologies that is there when an app is built or when a feature in an app has to be, released. That I can have those conversations, I can use those jargons in my conversations, but nothing more than that when I was applying. I think majorly for me, 80% was on the job. I was lucky to have seniors who really helped me navigate and helped me learn from basics as to how the entire app functions, what are APIs, what are webhooks, how the interaction happens. I think that is what I learned on the job, and my focus in the interview was on my skills mostly. So I think if anyone is looking to applying product manager role and they don't have technical experience, it's completely fine. You don't have to focus on that. Your passion needs to be there to problem. Your soft skills need to be enough. This is you can learn on the job. I think so. Yeah, it's not really mandatory at all. For me, I had no exposure at all.
Got it. The next thing is, you had interviewed at Bajaj. What were the common interview rounds? How was your interview experience there?
I think there were around 4 to 5 rounds. The initial 2 rounds were focused on the domain knowledge or case studies and how I'm approaching the problem. They were focused on that. The next one was focused on the cultural fit as to whatever approach or whatever we have discussed in the past interviews. I, as a human and as an individual aligned to the organization culture, does my ethics fit there? I can't just say I can do whatever I want. It has to fit what the organization wants to do, what Bajaj Health wants to achieve in a whole. I think that was the third one, followed by a HR. I think that was it. I'll talk more about the first one. It was focused on case studies. What they asked me were real life health problems that they currently were facing at that time to understand how I would approach those problems. What steps would I have been taking if I were to, that problem in the organization. Secondly, with healthcare comes with a lot of negative aspects. Every small mistake can cost you a lot. Every one patient who did not get a doctor consultation will be a highly dissatisfied customer whose health was at risk. For these aspects, what would I have done or what solutions would we have built to ensure that such scenarios don't occur in the first place? I think my interview was mainly focused on these two areas, and I guess, yeah, I think that was it.
Any specific thing that you did to matlab, ace the interview? Any specific places you learned or
I feel
anything you
like
practiced a lot?
right. I didn't practice much here because I didn't have exposure to what product managers do. I had nothing to prepare. Oh, this I know and what they do exactly. This is what I'm going to, be all perfect about in my interview. I kept it original. I think be honest and be original. Let them know really which background you're coming from. What are the skills that you're good at? Today I might not have technical or domain expertise, but if my skills are in place, if I am adaptable, if my communication is good, if I'm able to approach a problem properly, will give them the confidence that, if I put her in this role, she'll be able to navigate through. She has the basics in place, focused on giving them examples of when I was in PwC, if we faced a challenge from a client, from a third party, how we handled that. Or when we were put in a situation where we were in a time crunch situation, how did I manage that out? Because time is very crucial when it comes to these things. Knowing the skills which are important in healthcare, I matched it with relevant examples from my past PwC experience, and that is what I focused on during my interview. And I think I just focus on be honest. Don't make up your answers if you don't know. Just be honest that currently I'm not aware or I don't have exposure to this. However, this is what I am sure about, and I think that will help you get through. Yeah, I think these are the two things that I kept in mind: real life examples and just being honest about the entire process to them.
Got it. The next thing is, what are the specific you use to learn product management or upskill yourself?
To be honest, I did not use a lot of online resources. I really believe in on-the-job training. After my interview, once I got in, I kept on interacting and networking with a lot of senior product managers in the company, like from big product companies with a lot of experience. I was through and through interacting with them as to how my approach should be, what I should do, what I should not do, what do they recommend for me as a fresher to navigate in this field? How do I find a path of my own, right? So I have now joined as a product manager. What do I do? Which niche should I carve into? And I think they've helped me the journey now. It's been 3 years here. I think for me, on the job was very important. Having said that, learning how to use tools that helped me in my journey, one that I can talk about. One being Sigma. You can't rely on the designer. It's your brain until you put it out in a piece of paper or in a document for that matter, the respective will not be able to understand your thought process and execute it in that manner. Your Figma skills, whimsical for your wireframing, again very important. Once you start, you need to chalk out all the scenarios, all the edge cases for your wireframing. So we use whimsical for that. Figma, couple of other tools as a part of the organization itself, but mainly these two is what the product managers we focus on. And despite that, I think networking, I think one thing that I always do is I directly called my customer. I literally called them saying that I'm a product manager. I am building this. This is the problem I know exists. Do you think this will help you? Do you have any input to give? And I think that has helped me a lot. Not just sitting in one place, my senior manager has told me this or my boss has said this. I'm just going to sit and kind of start working on this. Talking to your customers, literally taking 10 minutes out, and they actually are there to share with you. And it's shocking of how they are willing to spend 20 minutes on the call explaining their experience, what they think could have gone well, and how you can improve. Sometimes you might even come across engineers or technical people there, and they're actually giving you ideas that this is where my experience went bad, and this is what you can do. So I think that part has helped me learn a lot, and the problems. I feel again focus on the skills, the hard skills as you navigate will come through. I think tools for me were mainly that only. Yeah.
Got it. I think the interesting part is talking to customers. Most people
Right.
think that people will not talk. You have access to their info. and you can talk to customers too based on the
Right.
activity they do. Yeah, perfect. I think before we conclude the podcast, do
Mhm.
you have any tips to say for the aspiring product managers or early PMs who have just started their career?
Also, what I see in the market, people have a lot of myths that you need to be a person from a technical background, you need to have your MBA in place. For me, I'm sitting and I didn't have any of it. I still don't have my MBA. I didn't have any technical exposure. All I say is just start. If you are passionate about your problem, if that zeal is there in you that I need to learn and I'm going to do it no matter what. Once you embark on that journey and once you have the mindset in place, just the mindset, you will navigate through. So I'll just say that start, do not wait for your list of 10 items to be ticked off and then you can start applying. Just have your basic. Give an example. Say today you want to apply in Swiggy or a healthcare company for that matter. Go on their website, go on the app, see what they are offering. That's what I did. I went on to Bajaj website and app. I noted down a couple of points as a customer that I thought I liked and were useful for me, and points that I felt, what, this could have been this way, this could have been improved this way. And I said that is what I shared in the interview as well, which kind of gives them an idea that she's already interested in the problem. She has that eye for detail and observation. This is working and this is not as per the customer needs. And I think that is the first step. Once you're there, you navigate through. Just start. Don't sit and wait. That's the only advice I would give. And apply for internships, apply for assistant roles, whatever is available. You apply, you get in, and once you're in the company, in the organization, then there's no stopping. Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Mahima, for explaining everything with examples and based on your experience.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.